Welcome to r/IDontWorkHereLady, where we share stories about folks that go into other businesses and have irate customers mistake them for employees. And today's story is Hurricane Karen Attacks, Saga of the Great Ice Storm of 1998. So this happened a long time ago, more than 2 decades as you can see by the title, but it still sticks in my memory, even among the many crazy things that happened that night and that week even. Not everyone had cell phones yet, though lots of people did. This will matter later. The storm was intense. It was alternating between heavy rain and freezing rain. Very intense wind. Not quite a hurricane, but strong enough that it was breaking off small branches. It was dark, full dark. The storm was completely blocking out the light of day. The clouds were thick and deep. They must have been thousands of feet thick to be that dark. Massive cumulonimbus, totally full. The storm had lost some of its speed since it had hit the coast, but none of its fury. Power lines started going down. Then even some of the poles. I had been visiting my parents at their home. My little sister was also visiting from college, as was my little bro. They had time off and I was able to not just take any contracts that month so I could go out there. Anyway, it's my adult family, after we had all made amends with my dad who had stopped drinking all the time and had apologized to us for the past. So we were having an apps. I was cooking on the antique wood-burning cook stove with my mom for dinner several hours later when it happened. Someone driving down the street. We could hear them even through the sound of the storm when they came around the corner and lost control on the sheer ice. They were lucky they got caught by trees in the snowbank because the river is right there. Even though it was frozen, it runs fast, so the ice never gets as thick as some places. A car could pierce through it. My family springs into action. We know they're going to need help getting out of the snowbank at the very least. First aid or more at worst. Dad grabs the first aid backpack from the wall in the kitchen where he keeps it, beside a full-size fire extinguisher. He was a logging camp medic at one time early in his foolish youth, had dealt with very serious life-threatening injuries in the past. We all run to get into our heavy snow gear, then put rain gear over top. Also the heavy boots for Arctic expedition. We all put on our ice climbing gear. This is taking too long. We grabbed storm lights, halogen ones, for the deep dark. On the way out, we grabbed shovels and pylons and flares out of the back of the car, then run out of the garage. My little sister takes snowshoes and heads to get the neighbors. There could be more cars. This is the only road if you're going deeper into the countryside in this direction. Then we slide down the toboggan run we have between our home and the cottage my parents own just below the home on the hill. This takes us from just the other side of our driveway all the way down to the ditch beside the road where the car crashed. We greet the people who crashed. It's a family of 4. We check if anyone is hurt. They're fine, just a little shaken and scared. The car is stuck and they don't have anything to get it unstuck. While my mom is talking to them, I've already started shoveling. My little bro beside me is shoveling too. Good, solid shovels, spade-shaped, large, specifically for snow shoveling. There is already a crust of ice on everything. My dad starts setting up pylons, weighing them down with dirt, sand, snow, gravel mixture off the side of the road. Then the next car comes. It's the hour that commuters would be coming home now. I would have thought they would have stayed home. We knew the storm was coming. But no, lots of people decided to go out. We dodge out of the way, climbing up and away from the out-of-control full-size sedan. It careens straight into the first car. Luckily, my mom had already got the family to get out of the car. This wouldn't be the first year we had a pileup, and it wouldn't likely be the last. The corner was killer. Right at the bottom of a long hill and another corner in the opposite direction so you can't see it coming. There are signs, but people ignore them, especially overconfident locals who take the corner at speed. Today though, the ice was clear. It was getting thicker. People were gonna keep crashing here. My dad and I started helping them out of the car. These people were strangers again. Didn't matter for our reaction though. This family was actually hurt, but it wasn't too bad. The size of their vehicle had somewhat protected them. Big boat of a thing. Only the wife had an injury that really needed attention. She had smashed her head against the window. It was bleeding, so my dad rushed to help her, pulling gauze pads and surgical tape from the first aid pack. At this point, my little sister arrived with 2 of the sets of neighbors. The others weren't home, she said, except Deer. He's getting salt. They had shovels and flashlights, but just digging wasn't going to be enough anymore. One neighbor, let's call him D, had a cell phone and called 911. I didn't hear any of their conversation. We were getting the family up the hill a bit to our cottage. My mom started making a fire in the wood stove, an old cook stove. Power was already out at this point, so there was candles and wood stoves or gas only. My family has some forest on the property and have always heated with wood. We're not rich. Land was just cheap as F out there when my dad bought it way back when. He built the house and cottage himself from wood he harvested. Anyway, my mom and dad have started laying out the injured as cars keep arriving every few minutes and crashing even though we have set up road flares way up the road and cones. There was no chance we were just getting people unstuck at this point. We were just getting the injured as good of treatment we can until the actual paramedics can arrive. Problem is, they're swamped. It's a small municipality. There is a hospital and it does have ambulances, but only 3. And they're all already on calls. They'll get to us as soon as they can, but the highway further up the way from us has already claimed lives. Holy S, this storm has already killed people. There are now a lot of people. I never did get a good count of how many. Neighbors from further away have come out to see what they can do to help. This is Canada. We help each other in the winter or everyone would just die. I was helping our latest impromptu guests into the cottage. It was getting really full in here. We were gonna have to start bringing people up the hill to our home soon. Then it happens. Hurricane Karen. In her defense, she was no doubt under stress. We all were. We had invited her inside just like we had with the others. The little cottage was very full of people, so not everyone had somewhere to sit. All the beds were being used by actually injured people. A few people had been seriously hurt in their crashes. Thankfully, the coroner hadn't claimed anyone's life yet. Hurricane Karen walked up to Dee, who was on the cell phone with CAA coordinating all the members who were here and needed towing, passing it to the other people when they needed to give their info and confirm it was them. The dispatcher was very understanding that we would need several tow trucks and promised we were in the queue, is what we were told by Dee. Hurricane Karen, give me that phone, I need it. No one knew who Karen was. At this point, a few of the families and random people who'd crashed were actually people we knew. She didn't even give him a moment to answer. She grabbed for it. Hurricane Karen, give it to me. You're giving it to everyone. Give it to me. At this point, it's already an adult temper tantrum. She went right to 11 in 0.5 seconds. D. Whoa there, lady, calm down. I'm talking to CAA to get tow trucks here to help everyone. Do you have it? The more members there are here, the better for getting them here faster, I'd think. Karen sees I have arrived back. She turns to me, pointing her finger in my face. Hurricane Karen. You work here. You make him give it to me. Me. What? Lady, I don't work here. He's trying to get help here for everyone. Please calm down. There's no reason to yell. I'm sure he can lend you the phone when he's done with the emergency people. Look, there are a lot of cars piled up and people are hurt. Stop. The whole time I was talking, she kept trying to interrupt me. My dad came out from the bedroom area at this point. He had blood all over his clothes. He looked super tense. Hurricane Karen wasn't done. Hurricane Karen. F you. Do you know how important I am? I'm the redacted local politician person from a neighboring municipality. I'll have you fired. Me. Lady, are you serious? We helped you out of your car and brought you into our home and you're behaving like this? Hurricane Karen. You can't treat me like this. My battery is dead. I have to call my son. Me. Calm down. You can call your son when D is done. I'm fully shouting at this point, just like her. Hurricane Karen. I'll get you fired. Get me your manager. Me. Deadpan. You can't fire me. Just stop. I don't have a manager or even a boss. Hurricane Karen. You have to give it to me. Dad. Interrupting her, full rage shouting. He has anger problems even still, even without being drunk. Nothing. We will give you nothing if you don't stop this right now. I brought you into my home. Be cool or you're going back into the effing storm. Is that what you want? I would like to say my dad is normally a nice guy, but he's autistic somewhat like me. High functioning, but with social interaction turned down significantly. He wasn't kidding. He was fully about to kick her back into the storm. My dad just turned around and walked back to the people who were hurt. His anger was implacable. It was probably almost as scary to Hurricane Karen as the storm. Though, thinking about it in retrospect, the fact that he was covered in blood was probably what did it. She didn't say anything else, she just sat down and shut up. The storm was by this time raging even more intensely than it had been. Trees had been coming down extensively. No one wanted to be out there, not even spoiled Hurricane Karen. She got her turn to use the phone eventually. Unfortunately for her, one of the other people in the cottage had been one of her constituents. Hurricane Karen lost her job. No one died under our watch that night. The road was closed not only because of the corner, but because lots of trees had fallen in the road up the hill. Everyone eventually got towed. Some people went to the hospital. By the next day, power was out across the eastern seaboard, more than 1,000 miles north and south of us. Took weeks to recover. More than 100,000 car accidents in just one night. 26 dead, countless people newly homeless. It was the biggest disaster I lived through. Hope you liked this insane story. If you want more stories, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. Have a nice day!